Oh look, another issue with leaking things and injectors leaking and all sorts of stuff leaking in a 1.6 Volkswagen. Now I actually got this, I towed this down with my A-frame, and I've got a recovery lorry, a car transporter and a proper AA recovery dolly, but yeah, I used an A-frame. So that's for another video. Anyway, yes. Oh, the joys. Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Right, we have a 2013 Volkswagen Caddy here, 1.6. So, we have a few issues. Now, this was referred to me from another garage, but it went to another garage before that for work. And then apparently this happened, and then the second garage you went to is like, I don't deal with this, called Leon. But then me and the other garage was like, why don't you take it back to the first garage? Look, I don't know. All I can tell you is this is how I'm finding it. So what you have to explain to a customer with this situation is we could potentially cause damage. The injectors are fine at the minute, but I have to take the injectors out to replace the rocker cover. Apparently injectors 1 and 4 was really loose and rattling around the place, so it's done damage to the seals. And I'll try and get it off, but it is actually, the rock cover is cracked as well, so we need a new rock cover. But to put a rock cover on, we have to take the injectors off. Now this is a 1.6 Volkswagen engine, so we've got lots of potential problems. We've got these M6 bolts down here that could break. We have potential seized injectors. Now the issue with these these injectors are very, as anyone knows that works on these, they're very temperamental. So when we use, if they are seized, the machine that we use to take them out, we could potentially damage the injector. That's just, there's nothing you can do about it. It just is what it is. So I've told the customer, look, your injectors are fine at the minute, but potentially we could do a lot of damage here. Do you want me to continue? And he's happy with me to continue. So you have to explain this to the customer. I did a video recently. Now again, it's going to be a long time since this video is released, but I did a video on another one of these showing you how to take the injectors out, and all the experts came out. It was unbelievable. One guy was like, why are you taking off all the injectors? Isn't that just stupid? Because I didn't explain in the video. The video was titled how to take out a seized injector. The video wasn't titled what I was doing with the vehicle. In that particular case, this bolt had snapped, so I had to repair all the threads, and the only way to do that is take all the injectors out, take the rocker cover off. That's how you do it. There's no other way around it. This wind is getting bad. Anyway, that's the wind because we're going through another storm here. So that was the reason, but I didn't explain that in the video. But the video was, like I said, was titled how to take out a seized injector, and all the fucking experts come out thinking they're God knows what. Anyway, and then I got a load more comments saying, I just pour vinegar down there and that's worked, or WD-40. Right, let me explain. Okay, these are one little M6 bolt holding these two injectors down. Once you release that bolt, the bracket, you cannot move the injector, because some of the fucking idiots say, oh, you just move the injector left and right and you can unseize it. Bullshit, you can't. You can't move this injector inside there. If the injector's seized with the, and a lot of injectors you can actually take out, you know, they have one bracket per injector, so you can take out the bracket and you can then spin the injector around. Yeah, granted, you have to be careful, don't spin it around the wrong way, because you'll just spin it off and you'll disconnect it and you'll be in a lot of trouble. But he was just saying, oh, you can just spin them. You can't fucking spin them. And then the other people that were saying, oh, just put WD-40 down there. You fucking can't, because half of these injectors are inside the head, and then the other half, or quarter, or just over, is inside the engine block. So to pour any sort of liquid down, you have to take the rocker cover off, and to take the rocker cover off, you have to take the injectors off. So you can't get to that point to pour stuff down the injectors. So when people, all these fucking experts, come out and say this, they just don't know what they're talking about. And then when you come on my channel and pretend you know what you're talking about, you're gonna get it, because I just find it hilarious. Some people ignore it, I don't. I just fucking let them have both barrels because it's fucking hilarious. So go back and check the comments on that video, because believe me, they're brilliant. Everyone telling me what I'm doing wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to hope, fingers crossed. I have started this to heat it up. Oh, that's another thing people say. Oh, you need to heat it up. Start it with the engine to heat it up. Depend on what injector's gone or what you might not be able to start the engine up. So that doesn't always necessarily work. And I'm not saying heat doesn't work. If you can start the engine, heat will help, especially to take out these two bolts here, but not necessarily anything else. I'm also, you're going to be seeing a video very soon of me actually drilling an injector out, because it will not come out. I didn't have the tools I had then, but I think even the tools I've got now wouldn't have done it. So once an injector is seized, it's seized, and believe me, I was pouring everything down there. You can imagine all the myths that everyone says pour down and heat the engine up. It just didn't work. It's just absolute bullshit. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to undo these two bolts and see if they come off without breaking, because that's going to be the first key. Just had a bit of a good idea, because I know when I answer some people on these comments, not everyone likes, oh, just leave them alone, just do this. And the way I see it is, it's kind of bullying. So if they're clever enough to say these things to people in comments, well then I don't care if someone claps back and hurts their little feelings. But some people doesn't like it. So should I start a new channel where I go through the comments? Just to let everyone know, this is an M8 multi-square, as they say in America, triple square. Oh, fuck me, that was loose. Oh no, that was scary loose. I wonder if it's broke. Ah, fuck. Start a new channel anyway and answer these people. Just destroy them with their comments. I really didn't like the feel of that. That was way too loose. Now, is it just loose because it's loose? The guy did say it was loose, but is it loose because it was snapped? Oh, he's lucky. This one isn't snapped. It's not snapped. No, it's not snapped. But it was too bloody loose. That was too loose. But look, it's not snapped. That's the most important thing. So, this one's now full of oil. Can I get this down here without doing that? See what this one feels like. Oh, now this one's a completely different story. Oh, oh, do not like the sound of that. Now I'm just very, very gently doing this, just with my finger, so I can feel anything happening. Now that was tight, kind of like the way it should be, but it's just scary because if you've ever worked on these engines, you know what these little bolts can do. That's why I was taking the injectors out of the other engine, because one of them had snapped and we had to completely helicord. It didn't work. It was helicored before and it just pulled all the helicords out, so we went a lot bigger with a bigger bolt, and it seems to be okay now for the minute. That was a couple of months ago now. So now to take these connections off, push the connection in as hard as you can, press the thing out and then slide it off. I want to see, it's just covered in oil. I want to see, is this broke? It doesn't feel like it, to be honest. It felt good, but excellent. Them bolts weren't broke. Now that is good. You don't appear to be damaged threads either, which is also good. But now what we've got to do is figure out, are these injectors seized? 17mm spanner. Right, so let's see what we've got with these injectors. Is that spanner going to get in on me? Now, with these injector pipes, there's two of them that are the same. Injector 1 and 2 has got the same pipes, and injectors 3 and 4 has a different pipe, but they're the same. So if you're unsure, you can just get a bit of Tipex, mark them, and so you know where to put them back, or you can just leave them in order But the only reason I'm taking this off, I just want to see, are these injectors seized? Now I'm guessing number 1 and 4 are going to be okay from what the customer was telling me, because he said they were physically loose and rattling and someone has just screwed them down. Now the issue with that is they haven't done anything with the little seals on the injectors. Now again, as regards cutting the new injector seats, you don't need to unless it's damaged. I did a video before and said, oh, you didn't even cut the injector. You don't need to. It's like skimming ahead. You only need to skim ahead if it's warped. If there is nothing wrong with it, you don't touch it because you're just causing problems. Every time you take a bit more meat out of the head, you're lowering the injectors down. You know, it's not going to seal properly. You need thicker washers. It causes you problems. Where, oh God, they're seized. This spanner's a bit too big for this, but hopefully I get away with it. Come on. Nope. There we go. Pliers. Right. We need to get out the return pipes. Make sure they don't break because they're so easy to break. Make sure the little washer comes out with them, which it does on that one. So I remember one of the comments, you can literally move this, not even, it's literally 0.5 of a millimeter, these rock inside here, and he says even if it moves that much it means you can get it out. No, just no. Fucking muppets. And then even if this is the case, what I always like to say is, okay, well, where is your video explaining this? You're saying you're this expert, you're saying you're this person, so where is your video on YouTube showing all this? It's not there because it's bullshit. Now that bracket is loose, but there is absolutely no play in that injector, like at all. And I can't even twist it even that little bit. So we could potentially have seized injectors, which is a nightmare because it means I have to take off all the wipers and everything, where if the injectors weren't seized I wouldn't need to do that. There's just absolutely no play in that. Now what I'm going to do now is you have to be very careful. I'm just going to go off the fuel rail bolt and just put this underneath and see if it moves. The rocker cover on this is damaged, so I'm not bothered. You can slip off this bolt and do damage to your rocker cover. I just want to see if that injector is loose. And this is a big huge long bar, look. And it just isn't. It just isn't. It just isn't. No, nope. I just know if I keep doing something like that, all I'm going to do is cause myself more problems and run into more problems. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm just not going to do it. What I'm going to do off camera now is I'm going to take all the other stuff off, take all the wipers off, get to everything and see exactly what's going on, and then we'll take our decision from there. But I think I'm just going to use the vibrator tool. It's cracked everywhere, that thing, which I'll show you how to get these injectors off again. And yeah, because I just know I'm going to cause more problems if I try and just use lever bars. I've got the proper tools. I might as well, for the sake of half an hour's work to take all the wipers off here, it's just going to make my life a hell of a lot easier. So let me get all that off and we'll switch the camera back on. Okay, so it's looking like we've got 2 seized injectors. Now this is what I was saying, look at this, that moves maybe a mil, maybe 2 mil, if that. And the person says as long as it moves that much, you can basically unseize it. Bullshit, because for a start, if it moves like that, the chances are it's not fucking seized. This one's moving as well. So this is the one we're having all the issues with. This is the ones that they are actually leaking. And I reckon whoever's done this has caused issues down here where they've maybe tried to leave us something, like I was explaining before, maybe crack this, or anyway, even if this wasn't cracked, we still need to fix this problem, because this is what's causing the oil leak. And once you get pressure like that, you're best off just replacing them, all the gaskets in here. So you can buy a little gasket kit and you can get all the new rubber gaskets. Obviously we're going to get a rocker cover, so we'll be getting all the gaskets with the rocker cover. But once it's come under pressure like that, believe me, I'm not saying you can't clean this up, I'm not saying you can't put new injector seals in there and it won't be fine for a while, but the damage is done. And I know, see, no matter what I say, when I say this, people go, oh, you don't need to replace it. And when I replace it, if I don't replace it, oh, you should have replaced it. So no matter what I say, you just can't win. But let's just see now if these move. Yeah, that's moved up. And the other thing with these is, because again, the stupid bracket, you have to loosen both of them to get one out, if that makes sense. So if you've got an issue with just one of these, you can't just take out one of them and do everything you need. You have to, because of the way the bracket works, you have to loosen both of the injectors to get the bracket off, to get one of the injectors out, which also, in my opinion, is fucking stupid, because it causes a lot more fucking issues. So let's see if this one will come out like the other one. Yeah, look at that. Them two are loose. So we got two injectors that are loose and 2 that aren't. One thing I do want to do is I want to mark these injectors when I put them back in the same place. Not that really makes that much difference in this particular vehicle. I just want to do it. So mark it there. Number 3. Mark it there. Here's number 4. Alright, I've now got to ring the customer and tell him, because I told the customer I like to give people a price of the job before I start. That way they get no surprises and they can't turn around to me and says, well, if it was that price I would never have got it done in the first place. But with this job I couldn't give them a price, because I kind of know what's wrong now as regards that's broke, these are leaking and these are seized. And I said to him, look, I'm going to have to, and I didn't know if these bolts were broken as well. So I said, I'm going to have to basically take everything off, then I can give you a price, because I couldn't do it for, like, this is a prime example. Look, you have to get that up at least that much before you can release one of these injectors. And that's another thing. So this is what I was trying to explain before. So when people say, oh, just pour like washing up liquid, and or they were saying all sorts of shit, vinegar and all this, you can't, because the problem is this seal here stops everything coming out. So you can't, if you pour anything down here, if you can somehow get past that seal and get past these brackets, which is impossible by the way, all you're doing is you're pouring whatever you're pouring down into the head. It won't go past this seal. You need to get the rocker cover off, and this bit is inside the head. You can see how rusty it's gone. But you can't do that until you get the rocker cover off. You see what I'm saying? So all these people say, oh, you should stuff, you just can't. Some engines you can. Some engines the injectors go down, you can see the hole and it's all fine. It's not, they're not going through the head. The 2-litre Transit, for example, the one I had to drill out was like that. But not all of them. So, let's see. You can see the damage done to that seal now. But is this... That's fucking hot, but I wanted it to be hot, so... Now, them copper washers look really good, and they look new. Someone's put new copper washers there. So, but I guarantee you, they've put new copper washers, but obviously the issue with this is maybe they haven't cut the seats. Anyway, so we've got 2 injectors out. 2 that are seized. So let me get you closer in here so you can see the damage done. Right, where's me? You just see the crack, can you see it there at the top there? So it's all cracked there, and look at the damage done to the seals. So lucky enough, well I say lucky enough, it's not really lucky because he has to buy a whole rock cover, but when you buy a rock cover you get all the seals and everything with it. Even this bolt seal, so even people forget about this seal, even the bolt that goes down has a seal. So we'll just be replacing all of it because it just makes sense to do it that way. So we know the customer is going to be happy and he's all going to be good. Let's hope this is not broke or anything like that. So now I'm going to have to tell him, look, we got the 2 bolts out, and I said that's going to be the most expensive job if one of them bolts snap. That's the most expensive job. And then I gave him a price per injector if it's seized. What I've also done is, and I've also explained to him, that then 2 injectors now are perfect, nothing wrong with them, right? Absolutely nothing wrong with them. But when we do what we're going to do, and this is, it's not just the machine I'm using, it's every single injector puller machine on the market could potentially damage the injectors pulling them out. Depends how bad the seize, and just depends on a lot of stuff. It's just the way it is. So I've also explained to the customer that, look, we might damage your injectors, there's nothing I can do about it, and it is kind of what it is, unfortunately. And he was like, okay, no problem, I just want it sorted. He just likes to keep everything nice and neat, and he just wants it sorted. So we were like, all right. Okay, as you can see, we've moved the wipers, all the plastic and the metal bulkheads and all that sort of stuff, so that's out of the way, so we've got a lot more room. Now you can watch my other video on how I actually remove injectors. I went into a lot more detail. So we're just going to take these out. Again, I've marked them, so 25mm, because what we need to do with the machine I've got, we need to take off the solenoid or the piezo part of the injector. Now, like I explained in the other video, you have to be very, very careful of this part, because this top part of the injector is really sensitive. If you drop that, game over. The chances of you're going to fuck it up. The bottom part of the injector is a little bit more durable, but you can still have issues. What you have to do is, when you take this off, there's going to be a little pin that might fall, and there's a little special washer that is essentially, it's married to this particular injector. So don't swap the washers around, because it sets the flow, it sets everything on these. So have to be careful here. Right, that's the injector off, or the piezo part. That's good. And now the little pin is still in there, and the washer is still in there. Now I can keep them in there, it's not a big deal. You can see, so the little pin in the middle there, you see that kind of hexagon washer on the outside. Again, you'll see it a lot better in my other video. But what we need to do is, we need to take both of these off together, because we need to get both of these out together. Oh, that's tight. I can't just put the machine on one and get it all the way out, because I'll do damage. We have to swap the machine from one to the other, and kind of get them both out level, or level-ish. Don't have to be exactly level, but they have to be kind of level-ish. So again, I've marked the injector so I know which one goes where, so I'm not worried about getting them muddled up. Take this off, be very careful, because there we go. Now that's all good. Now what I need to do is get my machine set up, turn my compressor on, and see if we can get these bad boys out, because there's no guarantee that my machine will do it. There is various different machines out there. I've shown them on my YouTube video, so you can go and check. There's the hand one that I got from Hobby Tools, which is kind of the cheapest one. Then you go to the pneumatic one, which is what I got from Welsh Workzug. So I'll put all them in the description. And then the one that I don't have is the hydraulic one. That is obviously ridiculously expensive, especially if you was to buy all the different kits for all the different cars. So, and a lot of people are saying, oh, I'd love to see that machine on the Vauxhalls and the Nissans and stuff like that. Look, I never said in the video that it'll do every single injector, because it won't. You know, when an injector is seized and it's going to snap inside it, you need the hydraulic ones. And even the hydraulic ones, you know, have problems, and they're 15-ton, 10-15-ton hydraulic ones can struggle getting an injector out. Sometimes the head can snap, so you know, sometimes there's nothing you can do, and it's just replacing the engine. It all depends, different cars, different situations. So let's see if we can even get these out. There's no guarantee we can. Fingers crossed, eh? Right, this is the bad boy, this is the kit, and unfortunately you'll see it in the video, I had to make a connection for it. It didn't have the right connection in, which was bloody annoying, but look, it is what it is. So we need to screw that down, and we need to make sure that's tight. The key with this is to make sure everything is tight, because when you are vibrating anything, if it's not tight, that's where you're going to really have your issues, because what will happen is, especially on threads, it's just going to rattle against your threads, and it'll pull your threads essentially instantly, or very, very bloody quickly, and then you will definitely have problems. Definitely need new injectors and new connections and all sorts of stuff. So I'm only using a little 100-litre compressor, so because my big compressor is absolutely buried, and at the minute this is really just a storage place, not really a place designed for me to work out of. So we'll see. But basically, I'm just going to connect my airline into here, make sure this is switched off, and I'm just, with this, I can, the more I put this on, the harder this will work, so I can essentially oh, I love this machine. So you see how easy that was. Well, the storm's coming in now again. I haven't had power for 16-17 hours at my house, maybe more, which is fun. Got power here though, but not in my gaff. Now, let's go again. See if I can cheat a little bit. Nope. See, it's amazing. Even though that injector now is loose, but it's still bloody tight. It's you know, you think because it's come out you're actually okay, but you can just see that was a big bar again and just not doing anything. Now, that one will go this side. Shut. Big enough. That's one big enough. This is the problem with having one bracket holding down two injectors. You have to get them out so far before you can get them out. It's bloody annoying. No need for it. Just no bloody need for it. Now, just grab that pin. So now slowly again. Oh, she was hitting. That's why you have to be careful and go slowly, because if you just walked away and let that do that and then it finally popped, it would smash that bracket and smash your windscreen. This is where it also becomes a big problem, because I was at another customer's house at a Passat with this engine in, and it went to a few garages and they couldn't get the injector out. They didn't have the tools. I had the tools and he was watching me, and I got it out in a few minutes. I then told him how much I wanted to do the job, and he was like, because he thought it was very expensive. And I'm like, you've gone to two separate garages, they couldn't do it. The reason they couldn't do it because they didn't spend the money on the tools. So sometimes when you spend a lot of money on tools like diagnostic machines, that's why people charge you a lot of money to plug a car in. Just because it takes 30 seconds or a couple of minutes, unfortunately it is what it is. But I want your opinion. Do you think it's bad if you spend a fortune on tools, especially specialist tools, and you can take something out or fix something in a couple of minutes because you've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on tools, and you charge what seems to be quite a lot of money for a couple of minutes work? Do you think that is wrong, or do you think it's right? I'd be really interested to see what people say. I think it's right, but oh fuck me, look at that. I mean, that is practically out, but still seized. I actually thought we were finished with the machine, but I don't know now. Can this just... Let's be so careful doing this. It's not really advisable, this. Oh, come on. Wow. Oh my God. No. Unbelievable. It just goes to show, doesn't it? That one's now loose. This one, oh, come on. Oh, this one isn't. This is what I'm trying to explain, people. So for that fucking idiot to say, oh, as long as you can turn it even a millimetre, it'll come out. This proves this is 98% out. And that was a big, huge bar bending. This will do it in a matter of seconds. Just goes to show. The problem is, the reason why I answer people on YouTube, especially when they say something stupid like that, is because unfortunately there is people out there that will believe a comment. They won't believe a video. The video that shows them all the evidence in front of them, they won't believe, but they'll believe some fucking idiot who knows nothing armchair mechanic who thinks he knows everything and knows nothing, and they'll believe his comment, and they'll do it, and they'll cause themselves a fortune worth of damage. Right. There we go. There we go. Isn't it amazing? Now it'll be interesting to see these. Alright, before I go any further, I want to put these back. Not all the way, I just want to put them back so I'll make sure the pin is down. Nope, the pin isn't down, see? To make sure the pin is now down. Come on. That pin is down, washer is in. I'm not going to tighten these yet because I want to get these in the perfect place. But what that's going to do for me is just stop anything getting muddled up. Oh, I've just pushed the injector down. What a tit. Anything getting muddled up. There we go. And anything going missing. Now, look at them. They're out. That's all that matters. The washer has stayed in it where the other washers had come out. So I definitely know someone's been at them other washers. Now, alright, see if I can get you down here. You might not be able to see. Not really, because the way the light is. I don't put another light on. No. Anyway, it is horrible down there. Horrible. Black death and everything's down there. So we need to get them copper washers out. And again, I've done videos on this, and every time I do a video on this, I just use a flat blade screwdriver, it always works. Yes, a flat blade screwdriver works, providing the center of the copper washer is good. But let's face it, why are you replacing the injectors? Because normally the injector is leaking, so it's making a noise, and the copper washer, the center of the copper washer is normally damaged. It's where this thing comes in. They're so cheap, they're unbelievable. You can get these from Hobby Tools, and it's a little slide hammer, and it's threaded here, so it actually it's a cone shape. So now I said that, watch this not come out. So you kind of push it down, and then you can twist it into it like that, and then and look, that actually, that is a great, look at that. That copper washer on one side is practically perfect, and on the other side, oh, let me get it off. Look at that. So you can see that, look. It's all thick this side, where it should be, and it's really thin that side. Essentially, look at that. Ready to snap. See that? That is ready to go. Now in this case, maybe a flat blade screwdriver would have worked. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but believe me, this tool is so much easier. So that was ready to go. It wouldn't have been long until them injectors, or this injector this side, was leaking. It's the same again, push down, kind of screw it into it, and then just tap, tap, tap. And there we go. Same with this one, not as bad though. Interesting. I wonder why they've done that. I've never seen them to do that before. Well, actually I have, but nowhere near as bad, but still, yeah. Right, there we go. We're now set. But what I've got to do is, I've now got to ring the customer, and well, first I've got to find out all the prices of everything and ring the customer and ask, and for him to tell me what he wants me to do. I think he's going to say do it, but I just, now I know exactly what he needs or doesn't need. I can now give him a proper price, because them bolts have come out great. They were good, didn't snap. We had 2 C's injectors. So we need to replace the rock cover because it's broke down here. We need to get the 4 new seals. We need to cut the new, well, I'm actually, before I cut them, I'm actually going to check them. So I'm going to clean everything and check it. But I just want to see if the customer wants me to go any further. I presume he does, but look, you can't presume anything. We have to check. Just spoke to the customer, and yes, that is a folding phone. I don't understand. The corner of the phone was in a couple of videos, and people are going mental over it. Oh, it's a folding phone. But yeah, it's a folding phone. I don't understand the comments sometimes. Like, why are you looking at a phone and not what I'm doing? Anyway, spoke to the customer. He said go ahead with it. So what we're going to do, we're going to rip off the rocker cover right there. I'm not going to film all this because it is just literally bolts. I've got to take off the fuel rail, and then a few bolts around, and then this pipe here, and then the rocker cover's off. I'm ordering all the bits, should have them tomorrow, so I'm just going to kind of get ready for tomorrow. Once I get that off, I'll show you everything, and yeah, we'll start cleaning everything up, see if we need to do the valve seals and all that sort of stuff. We'll see that. We won't know until tomorrow, but I might even clean them today. We'll see, depending on the time. And so the more I can get off, the better. So it is just this pipe, this metal pipe here, these bolts for the fuel rail, this set of wires here comes out, fuel rail can kind of go off to the side, disconnect one of the plugs, the fuel rail can come off. And that allows you to get all the bolts off, because as you can see, the fuel rail kind of bolts down onto the rocker cover, so that has to come off. And then that comes out, bish bash bosh, sorted, and then we can go from there. Lovely jubbly. Right, you can see all the crap down there, especially on number 1 and number 2. You can see all the little bits of crap that the injector's just been spluttering around. This side's a lot cleaner because it was physically leaking. So it kind of cleaned itself, but it wasn't good. So all I'm going to do is, and before anyone says, oh, you're not supposed to do it this way, because it's just, no matter what, like I said, I've got my airline, I'm going to blow my airline down there. Oh, the bits, you're going to destroy the engine, you're going to destroy this. This is just little bits of oil and all sorts, which is already floating around the oil anyway. We are doing a full service on this as well. And I suggest, if you're doing a job like this, to do a full service anyway. But, you know, you can't help bits going everywhere, unfortunately. It's just the nature of the beast. And you can't really put a cover over here, because now you can see just how far the injectors are down there. There's nothing I can really do to stop all the crap from going anywhere. And you can now also see why a you know, pouring down something is like whatever people were saying is just not going to do any good, because even by some miracle you manage to get it past the seal, the engine's at a slant, it's not going to go down where it needs to go down. I'm telling you now. So we're going to clean this off a little bit better. We're going to use, I'll show you what we're going to use. Right, so these are the tools we're going to be using. We're going to use this to clean where the injectors actually sit, and we're going to use this to cut the new injector seat. Now, the chances are we're going to mostly have to do all 4, because these 2 weren't leaking, but you could see the washer was getting very thin on the outside, or even in the middle, sorry. So we'll see. I'm only gonna cut them if they need it, because there is some people out there that think no matter what you have to do it. That's just not the case. Like I said, it's like skimming ahead. You only need to do it if there's an issue. It's pointless doing it if there's not, because all you're going to do in future is cause yourself problems. My compressor's not plugged in, but what I want to do is just blow this out, kind of. Let's get my drill set up with me. So this wire brush connection on the edge of the drill is really handy. Saves a lot of donkey work, but I think if I remember correctly, oh no, okay. Right, already, I'll get you in there. And you just saw that was, I haven't speeded it up or anything, that was real life. You can see how shiny and good that's looking there at the minute, compared to that one, compared to that one, and compared to that. Oh, actually that one doesn't actually look too bad on camera. What I'm going to do is, there's no point me filming all this. I've done videos just on this specific thing, so go and check that out. I'm going to clean all this up, and we're going to see what the what down there looks like. Do we need to do any more, or do we just need to put the injectors down properly? We'll see. Right, I can clearly see now which one was definitely leaking. I'll try and get some sort of light. Now, the camera might not be showing that great, but you can see like a lip. If you see where the main hole is, just around the hole there's like a lip. It's like a raised up lip. You look at this one, get you in, completely flat. Look at that one, again, completely flat. And the last one, completely flat. So all I'm gonna do, and I know some people are not gonna agree with this, but I'm telling you, you only need to cut them if there's an issue. So there's only one there that's an issue. I'm just going to cut one, and I'm going to clean up the rest a little bit more just to be 100% certain that they're okay, but they look absolutely perfect, where number 4 doesn't. And if you remember, that's the side we had all the smoke on and causing all the issues. So number 4 was definitely leaking, because it looks like there's a lot of damage down there. It does look quite bad. It might not look bad on camera, but it does look quite bad. I might not be able, well, I should be able to, but I don't want to take too much off. It's always a risk. So in the set, you just need to find the right one. Now in this case, we need a flat one, but the easiest way to do it is to get your injector and line it up so you can see that is the perfect length and everything. So we know in this particular set, this is the one we need. What we need to do is put this in there like that, get that over there. I had to modify this for a Mercedes, I believe. I can't remember now. It could have been a Volt. I think it was a Mercedes. Anyway, screw the little grub screw down, give it a twite. Now, a couple of things you can do. You can put a little bit of grease on here just to stop the little bits, you know, to the sticks to stop going to the engine, which I will do. But I'm telling you now, right, they're so small, and it's Ali, it's not going to cause any problems. But of course, there's people out there telling you it will. I'm telling you now, it will not cause any problems. Oh, that's rough. I can actually, I'm struggling to even turn that by hand. That's bad. It's got a lot of damage on that one. So we'll just go and turn it. Cut all them bits. Look with the grease. See all them bits. See all them bits. Let's see now what it looks like. Now I'm going to show you now, and hopefully you're going to see what I mean. So now you can see the shiny patches and the dark patches. I'm struggling to get the camera down, but hopefully you'll see. So if we look at number 3, I haven't touched that, but you see how shiny that is all the way across. Now you've seen what I've done with there. Now can you see, it's not shown on camera properly, but you can see like a dark ring in the middle. So not where the hole is, where the injector goes, but then look in the middle of the actual main big hole, you'll see like a dark ring, and that is where it's low. So I've just cut that through to make it shiny, and I need to keep cutting so that's all shiny. Unfortunately, it is quite bad in there. Someone's been at it. I'm not sure exactly what they have been at, but they've been at it. And like I said, you don't want to take too much away, because you push the injector further into the hole. You need special then washers to fill up the extra hole so the injector doesn't go too far down. Yeah, I'm taking a lot out. We're close. We're really close now. It's just on one edge. Hopefully it's just a couple of more turns. like it. Taking a lot out of there. I'm gonna go again, but it's a lot. It's a lot. One more time. See, this is the problem. Just be so careful not to take too much off. Right, that's good now. I'll show you that. You look down there, nice and flat and clean. Now, look down there. See how it's shiny all the way out now? So there we go. Like I said, I'm just going to clean these off camera a little bit more just to make sure it doesn't need doing. What you've also got to remember is the copper washer can take up a lot of, and it can form to the hole. So you just, like I said, you want to be careful. I'm getting the upgraded washers for this. So in other words, they are slightly thicker because, again, when you come to do these, the chances are it's been, something's been happened or something's changed and seats have been cut and, the usual kind of stuff that goes along with it. Actually, the more I look at them, the more they don't look great. So this one is the second worst. Number 4 is definitely the worst. So yeah, see that there was enough. So I'm just basically polishing these, you could say. This is definitely more of a polish than a cut. I'm not pushing down hard, so I'm not really taking a lot away. Yeah, that's a million times better. Right, let me just cut this and I'll show you them. Right, now, hopefully, I need to turn the top back on, don't I? There we go, look at that. Nice and shiny all the way through. Nice and shiny. Nice and shiny. Nice and shiny. So I basically polished the other 3. Number 3 and 4 were the worst. Number 4 was definitely the worst out of a lot of them. So we're now waiting on parts, so I can't do anything more. A few seconds for you, a couple of days for me. And like I said, I'll leave all the links down in the description of the tools I used. So let's rebuild this and get it working again. Here is our new one. All new bolts, all new seals, every seal with it, all the new bolts, even the backing plate for the turbo, all good. So what I'm going to do is, not going to really film this, because all I'm doing is I'm going to clean up all this, just screw this back down, and then we're going to start sitting our injectors in and seeing what the story is. Now, one thing I did forget to mention the other day is that the customer did say it was kind of hard to start, and I also think that was because that injector was leaking. And I also thought, when I was looking, I'll show you in a minute, but when I was looking at the injector seals, and when I was cutting that seat there, and I noticed the ring in the middle, just something wasn't right. And essentially what's happened is, I know them two, something's been done with them two, but the wrong washers were put in there, and I'll show you against the new washers. So yeah, Lovely fun and games. Let me just get this in and then we'll continue. Do you know what I've also found absolutely hilarious with Volkswagen? This is the little M6 bolt that holds down 2 injectors, that when you are driving you get a lot of pressure trying to blow the injector up, and these snap because they're tiny, but yet 2 bolts hold down the fuel rail, M8s, and look at the size. That balls. Look at the size difference. Twice the size. And there's 2 of them to hold down a fuel rail, which really doesn't move. I mean, I know where they should have swapped them bolts around. I think someone read the instructions upside down and said, oh yeah, there we go. Anyway, what do I know? I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to, because I know I'm going to get someone, oh, but hold on, the amount of pressure that's going through that. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure that's going through it, but it still doesn't need them big, huge bolts holding it down. There's no other fuel rail that uses them bolts holding it down like that. Anyway, but I kind of shouldn't have said that, because now the people that were just about to make that comment are not going to make that comment now, which is a shame. Right, just be aware, before you throw the old one out, the old rock cover out, there's 3 clips and brackets you have to take off. 1 goes at the side, 2 go at the back down here, and they hold all the vacuum pipes and stuff in. So, and also the wiring here for the heat sensor, or the pressure, the temperature sensor. So yeah, just be aware of that. Don't throw it out and then realise it's gone in the bin and then you need them bits. Right, I'm going to try and show this. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. See that ridge in the middle? See where it's black? Where it's kind of lifted up? It's not completely flat. That is not an issue. That is how the ring is made. This is how the copper washer is made. It's the wrong copper washer for this car. See, this copper washer, perfectly flat. The ones I took out, the 1 and 2, were perfectly flat. This is 3 and 4, which were dodgy. And you saw, hopefully the video saw the kind of the ridge that it made. So that ridge that's sticking up pushed into the head and actually indented the head. That's why I kept having to cut quite a lot out, because of the dint it made. And it's also dinted the injector. Again, I don't know if the camera's going to show it. There's a slight little ridge on there. It's not bad, but it's there. It's not how it should be. So we're going to replace it with the proper washers, and then hopefully we're not going to have... Actually, number 3 looks to be the proper washer. Number 4 is the one that was leaking. We can clearly see from the damage of the head. Nope, same again. Same again, wrong copper washer. Right, I've got 2 injectors in, and this is what I was trying to explain the other day, but it's a lot easier now once you can see everything's clean and it's going back in. So a lot of people were saying in the previous video on how to take out injectors, all you need to do is squirt some WD-40 or some vinegar or whatever it was down here. Now look, when the clamp is on, and you cannot take the you can take the bolt out, but you can't take the clamp off until the injectors are out. Look, there's just no room. And I mean no room to get anything in. Look, you can't, you can barely see the seal. This is what the seal looks like. So you put anything down there, I guarantee you it's not going to go all the way down into the head. So from here to here where my fingers are, that's all inside the head, covered in oil. And then, sorry, inside the actual head. And then what goes inside, actually physically goes inside the hole in the head, is this bit here. And this is the bit that gets seized. So there's no way you're going to be able to put something that's going to run down into here and then somehow magically go past this seal and then somehow get into here and free up. It's just not going to happen. If you could take the rocker cover off, you might have a chance. So if you smash the living shit out the rocker cover to try and do it, you might have a chance. But I'm telling you now, in my experience, once an injector is seized, there's just not a lot you can do. There just truly isn't. Especially with these ones, with the way the brackets are, with the way that one bracket holds two, and the fact you can't twist it when you loosen this bolt, the bracket keeps it in place. Some cars you can take the bracket off and physically twist it, but you do have to be very, very careful, because here is a thread. If you twist it the wrong way, all you're going to do is screw the injector out and leave this part here, so you're still in a lot of trouble. So you just got to be very, very careful. And you can even see all that white stuff. See that white stuff in there? So what I do is I put some grease on here, and even though I just know it doesn't do any good, but I just do it for kind of peace of mind. But you can see how tight it is there. It even basically takes off most of the grease. So you can't even get a thin layer of grease past this, because you got to remember, that's a fucking oil seal, people. So when the oil gets hot and it's thin, it can't go past here. Oil can't get past there. So you think you're going to put some penetrating fluid down there? Just not. You're fucking idiots. And this is what you have to deal with. These fucking muppets who think they know everything, and they just don't. Like I said, there is some cars you can maybe do it with, but these particular engines, not a fucking chance. Right, so I'm going to put you here, and I'm just going to show you what I do. So I got some ceramic grease, which is designed for heat, but like I said, it really doesn't, it just doesn't do anything. I'm sorry to say, but look, it is what it is. I still put it on because I'm just hoping that there's maybe a bit of grease goes past the seal and it does something. But I've done these before where I put them in and had to take them out a year later because the injectors have gone, and they're still fucking seized even with all this on. So it just doesn't do anything. It just doesn't do anything. So I just put a bit on the top like that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And the reason why I put a bit on the top, oh, I didn't get the bloody seal out. Also, be very careful when you put a seal in. Sometimes there is a right way to put them on. Sometimes there's a chamfered edge that needs to go on the head or the injector. Sometimes they're actually shallowed out like some of the Mercedes, so be very careful. These ones are not. What I've done with these ones, I've just got slightly thicker ones, so to do with the stuff that I've got that we took out. So what I do is I put a bit of grease on there. The only reason I do that is because when I turn upside down, look, the seal doesn't fall off, and it doesn't do any harm. It just kind of holds the seal there like glue almost. So same thing again. What's this, injector number 3? We'll butter it up, and I'll try and move the camera in a different place, and you'll see what I mean about when I put these down, just how much grease comes off. And really and truly, do we get any grease down there? I truly don't think so, if I'm being honest. I really don't. But all the experts will tell me different. Oh, I've done this and I put grease and I got it out 50 million years later, and it's been in the sea for 5 million years. Yeah, okay. Where's your expert video then? Show me. Oh wait, you've got no fucking videos. What a surprise! Right, so now put these on the right way, and get on. Right, let's try and get the camera in, and I'll show you what I mean. Just how much grease. Look at that. Look how much grease just comes out. Actually, just shits and giggles, we lift it back up. Oh, the grease will hit it though. That's the problem. See, we got some of it, but you see at the top now, that's a prime example. So we've only got grease on half of it because it's slightly thinner than the top half. So we've only got grease on half of it. That, the seal, the oil seal, is taking away half the grease already. So, prime example. Right, shall these go down? Now, it's important you push them down by hand first, because that means a couple of things. It means it's fully gone down. You know the seal hasn't fallen off and twisted or done anything stupid. You do not want to force it down with the bolt, because you've maybe got a problem. You can do a lot of damage. So push it all the way down, you know you're home. Then you can put your bolt in place. What I've got to do is I've got to now set these 1 and 2 the same as this. So if you remember, I didn't tighten these because these have to be at that angle. Now I can tighten them with a 25mm spanner. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to put a few more things onto it now off camera, because again I've done loads of videos showing all this, so I don't need to repeat it on this video. If you want to see it in more detail, go and watch my other videos. Okay, I think we're good to go. We're good to start it. I'm going to leave the camera there in case it blows up or anything happens. I catch it on camera and clickbait it and do all the good stuff that they do on YouTube. Hopefully it doesn't. I'm just double checking everything. We need to make sure we're not hearing any, you know, strange noises, make sure there's no smoke coming up, make sure it doesn't sound like Thomas the Tank Engine. Sometimes, especially with seized injectors and especially with these ones, or these particular engines, when you have to pull out seized injectors, sometimes when you try and start it, it can give a bit of a diesel knock, which sounds horrible. But it normally overcomes itself, but it does sound really, really bad. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but if it does, don't necessarily worry about it. But we need to see if this starts. It's going to maybe take a while to start, you know, because we've taken everything apart, so it's maybe not going to start instantly, but I'm more worried about that it's, you know, we need to start it, we need to make sure it's not leaking, we need to make sure it starts for a start, you know, start. Let's see what happens. Something come off. Have I not connected something? It shouldn't really be that hard to start. Sometimes I have come across it before, but sometimes I've also come across where I've accidentally unplugged something. I mean, there's no engine lights coming on, which is good. Maybe it's just the diesel's just gone back. Maybe I'll just prime it. Good, it just needed a bit. So now I've just got to make sure, got to heat it up, make sure nothing is leaking. Come on, magnet. Make sure nothing is leaking. Make sure this is all okay. That's all steam coming off from oil and diesel. I'm going to wash all this for the customer. But I'm really concentrating on here to make sure there's no leaks or anything. So once this is heating up, I'll turn the camera back on. Right, it's only been running for a couple of minutes. I want to do this before it heats up. Obviously the diesel just kind of went back a bit more than I thought it was going to do, but I'm going to turn this off now and see how easy it starts. If it doesn't start easy after a couple of minutes of running, we've got another issue. Lovely, that's good. The reason why I wanted to do that is I wanted to do it before it heated up, so I knew it's going to be okay. Because if it heats up and there's an issue when it's cold, you're not going to know. So I still need to monitor this, make sure it gets up to temperature, make sure everything works, there's no leaks. Normally, again, I say normally, but don't always go off this. Normally if you have an issue with your injectors with regards leaking, it leaks straight away. I've done another video on cutting valve seats and I had to take the injector out and redo it because it was leaking. So normally they leak kind of straight away. It's a good sign that we're okay here at the minute. But don't go off the normally. That's why I'm heating it up, letting it go through a few heat cycles. I'm going to take this down the road, I'm going to clean the engine, I'm going to test drive it, because once it's under pressure it's completely different to it ticking over. Engines can tick over for weeks and days and months and years, but as soon as you drive, you know, the pump might not be giving enough pressure. There could be loads of things wrong with it, so it's always good for a test drive. Right, I am also at the same time servicing this vehicle for the customer. I'm not recording that because, you know, I've actually think I've done a service on one of these and recorded it, not in a caddy but in a roomster, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But he did tell me it was hard to start, and he, you know, the fact that the injector was leaking, the compression was coming up through it, that's one reason why it could be hard to start. He said the heater plugs hadn't been done in a while, that's another reason. But I did say to him, I said, look, it might not be them reasons. And I've just seen something in here that's not a good sign. I've done videos on it before, striking gold, and it's not a good thing always to strike gold. And so you take this off, look at that, you see all that gold in there? That is not good, people. That is not good. You do see always a little bit when you take the filter out, that's why you always clean everything, but when you see that much, especially on top of the filter, it's not a good sign. I have a feeling his high pressure pump is damaged. So after all this work, and now that diesel is a weird colour. It's not great. But like I said, with all them bits on top of the filter, there's going to be an issue with this pump soon. Okay, it's all put back together, it all looks good. I'm going to take it now for a drive, put it under pressure, I'm going to wash all the engine, then I will film basically what happens. Do we still have an issue? Are we fixed? What's the story with the high pressure pump and all that good stuff? Right, we have done lots and lots of miles in this. We have tested it, and look, absolutely no leaks. I've cleaned all this at the back here, it's all been nicely washed and cleaned, and again, absolutely no leaks whatsoever, which is all good. And I'm still not happy with the power of the van. It's not as powerful as it should be. Not happy with all the little gold flakes in there, but that's for another video. But we've actually solved the issues we were having in this particular video. So there we go. As always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most important, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.